A shocking report has revealed that children as young as 4 have been found taking knives into schools, and that there has been a 42% rise in children caught in possession of weapons in the last 2 years. What can we do about this? Do we need to introduce airport-style security at the school gates? They do it in America. Do we need to do it?
Well, I mean, it does feel like we're moving towards that, but of course that's just going to be a sticky plaster on a great big pussy wound, and eventually the pussy wound will burst out over the plaster. You know, we've got to look at what the root cause of this is and how we're going to support children. I mean, you know, there are the people that will go out with a knife with intent to hurt, but then there's a lot of innocent kids that are taking out a knife because they want to protect themselves, and we have to get that message across. I mean, I know Brooke Kinsilla's been on here a number of times. She does a great thing with the Ben Kinsella Trust, where they go into schools and they get through role play and all kinds of quizzes. They do all sorts of things to really get these kids to understand what it means to carry a knife and use a knife. I mean, I've got huge sympathy as well for people that aren't growing up in the greatest of homes, that are growing up in a chaotic home, in a bad area, maybe going to a bad school. We have to look at how we can support those people as well, because otherwise the problem is just going to keep
I totally agree with
growing.
you. The problem is, it's such a massive scale, and the problem is, in a generality, there isn't enough housing, there isn't enough money for education, there's no money anywhere, and the NHS, doesn't matter what you look at, it's suffering. So I agree with you that the bigger problem needs to be addressed, but to hone it down to schools, is that's what we're talking about today, it's horrific to think that a 4-year-old would bring in a knife. I counted up today the different types of things that are listed. 88 different devices,
weapons,
ranging from a very sharp paper knife, ranging from like proper knives, kitchen knives. I mean, it is just on a big scale.
But now, also kids are making them themselves, not just the things that you mentioned.
See, I am for, if it means that school would become a safe haven and that I as a mother would know that my child was safe and not being knifed in the playground, I would put in screening devices to make sure that those knives never went into the school. Because we're all used now. I mean, I lived in Northern Ireland, you know, for 30 years with bombs, bullets, barricades. We were tested or screened every time we went through a barrier. Open your bag. You just get used to it. So I would be for that. But can I just bring this into the mix? We've just heard today that a London school in the north of London, they're now sending their children to school in stab-proof uniforms. Now, would you like to be putting your child into a stab-proof vest? What a message is that to send out?
Well, frontline workers do say there's a direct correlation to cuts in youth funding and the increase in knife crime. We have to go to the root cause.
But we also have to start, for instance, things like bullying in schools, where a lot of these kids are going in terrified and out of schools. You see it online, they're filming it. There has to be stronger consequences to bullying as well.
It's more likely they will get hurt by carrying a knife that they think is going to protect them.
You know.
What's interesting, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, wrote in today's paper as well. He's obviously given his opinion on this, and he's got an interesting take on it, that obviously we need to offer young people a path away from violence, so show them that there is another route that they can take. With that, he said he's working with mental health providers, having more youth workers in A&E, so that when stab victims are coming in, if it has been through gang violence or something like that, that there are people there that they can talk to. They're not just patched out and sent straight back out again. But also working with Ofsted so that there's more school safety officers.
Well, yeah, some people say that it should be part and parcel of passing at Ofsted, that you have some sort of something in place around knife crime, some sort of, well, I mean, I don't know.
We did a poll on it, and we said, we asked you at home, should schools install airport-style security to keep students safe? 77% said yes, which is interesting because although Vicky here says, no, we're not America, I hope we shouldn't have to escalate to this. I think we're already there. We have already escalated to that point.
And I hate to put this in the mix as well. Sometimes I don't sleep terribly well, so I flick through on television as well. The violence on TV these days.
They're numb to it now.
I think a lot of people just take it as the norm. Stick a knife, that's it.
I think you're right. And also I think a lot of younger people are watching movies and what have you, where people get smashed about and get back up again. That doesn't happen in real life.
No,
and I think that's what we need to
big problem.
underline.